Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrew. A little while ago, I discovered this on Goodreads, and I just kind of want to talk through it. But basically, you can see how many times certain books have been marked as a favorite, which obviously you could also like look at books and just see like what's the most highest rated. But I feel like people that have taken the time to go onto their Goodreads account and mark something as a favorite, like, I don't know, it just makes it stick out a little bit more in my mind. But I'm going to kind of screen record here and just kind of talk through just some interesting observations. So obviously we have like the very iconic Six of Crows, but if you click show all, you can see all the different things like people tag it as. They've tagged it as like obviously like fantasies number one. The second tag on Six of Crows is this literal second tag is favorites. But if you scroll down, like this is like most tag favorite this week. But then we have like all time favorites. So I mean you could go through here forever. So of course our number one is by, that series that we don't talk about. But then our number two is The Hunger Games, which again, also not surprising. And then Pride and Prejudice, and then The Book Thief, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Fault in Our Stars, and The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which so far, every single one of those things has been adapted into like a show or a film. And then we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is just, obviously I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Now let's not talk about rating for Six of Crows because I need to reread Six of Crows because obviously I didn't read the same book. But 1984, it's been adapted. Song of Achilles has not been adapted. The Great Gatsby has been. Now, this is the first Sarah J. Maas book, but it definitely is not the last that's going to show up here. But A Court of Mist and Fury is the first thing that shows up. And then The Hobbit, Divergent, again, also these things have been adapted. Jane Eyre, I know, has definitely been adapted. Percy Jackson, unfortunately, was adapted, but, The Catcher in the Rye, I don't know. I'm actually going to look that up. I want to know if there's a movie for The Catcher in the Rye. But also, like, it's crazy because things that are marked as favorites, like, the ratings are all over the place because, like, Jane Eyre has a 4.14, but also it has almost 2 million ratings. But, like, Evelyn Hugo has over 2 million ratings, which is, that's crazy. Like, a book, like, Jane Eyre's been out for how many years? Okay, but has The Catcher in the Rye been adapted? I feel like it probably has, right? Apparently not, but there was a movie about the author of The Catcher in the Rye. The Picture of Dorian Gray, also, that's crazy to me. Like, I don't know. The Kite Runner, I never have read. A Song of Ice and Fire, of course. Let's find one that has a low rating, but is still really high up. I want to say, like, Lord of the Flies is, like, coming to my, like, are any of these books going to have, okay, actually, I just saw one. There is a book that has less than a 4-star rating that is marked as a favorite. Like, you can see it's marked 15,000 times as a favorite, and that is Wuthering Heights, which I attempted to read, didn't finish, but will attempt again at some point in my life. Then we have more by the same author, Where the Crawdads Sing. That's so many ratings. Like, these books, obviously, they just have so many ratings, but also, like, so many of them have been adapted. Cersei has not been adapted, so that's surprising. Okay, I want to see if we can find anything else with... Okay, The Alchemist has less than a 4-star rating, but it's still marked... Because I think Oh, and I see something else we're going to... Something else is definitely have less than a 4-star rating. The kind of books that I love, like... I think most people would agree with me with this sentiment, so let me know if you agree or not. If you know that if you pick up a book, it's either going to be a 2-star book or a 5-star book, you are going to want to read that book more. If someone said this will be a 4-star, like, this book is going to be a 4-star book, like, you want to take the risk on that 5-star book. And even if you end up hating the book, I hear this all the time, it is going to evoke some sort of emotion out of you, positive or negative. Like, if every book that you picked up was either a 2-star or a 5-star, I feel like that's a better reading year than if every single book you read all year long was a 4-star book, because you would just be like, yeah, everything was good. Everything was good, but nothing was, like, amazing. And I would rather have, like, some really terrible books and then some absolutely amazing books, because right. So my point being that The Alchemist is clearly a book that like it really works for people or it really doesn't. Now we have Twilight, which is the same. I feel like maybe not quite the same phenomenon, but Twilight obviously is like, I've never read Twilight. I kind of want to read it just to know, like, I've seen maybe the first movie, possibly the sequels. I really don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you if I've seen all the movies. I know I haven't seen all movies. I don't know which ones I have or haven't seen. I remember like the baseball scene, but I think that might be the first movie. But I do love paranormal stuff, so I mean, it could work for me. I don't know, but I know Stephanie Meyer's a little problematic, but she's not as problematic as some other people we've already talked about. So, Fangirl, so high up. A Little Life, so high up. Red, White, and Royal Blue, so high up. 100 Years of Solitude. Yeah, I hear this is magical realism, and I don't know about that. Dune, again, so high up. Frankenstein, I'm shocked at Frankenstein's rate. I remember reading Frankenstein in high school and absolutely loving Frankenstein. Like, I was obsessed with Frankenstein. Like, it was so good. And then I watched some Hollywood movie of it, like, end of last year. It was terrible. The movie was so bad. Like, the movie did not understand the source material whatsoever. No, not even close. And then we've got The Selection. Again, so many ratings. Like, a lot of these things are just really popular, but I really want to focus in on Eleanor and Park. Has less than a 4-star rating, but I think that's a conversation. I don't know if I'm the channel to be having it, but there's plenty of conversations about, like, the Asian representation being questionable. So, Slaughterhouse-Five, never read it. I want to read it. And then There Were None, absolutely fantastic. That was such, like, it was so good. Again, I feel like it's a book that either really works for it. It has over a 4-star rating, but I feel like most people either super appreciate it and how it's executed, or they feel like it's kind of boring, which I don't find it boring at all. Like, I have seen, there's like an adaptation of it that I've watched 3 times now, and I'm gonna watch some other adaptations. That'd be a fun project for me to just watch all of the different And Then There Were None adaptations and rank them. Like, I'm gonna do that. And then Green Gables, definitely want to read that. The Cruel Prince, I DNF'd. Normal People, no, I don't get it. See, I don't get it, but I would have rather, I'm glad I read that because I know, like, it's not for me. I know it's not for me, but got some more Sarah J. Maas, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I never watched that movie, but I do love mystery, obviously, from, like, you know, Miss Agatha. I mean, so many of these things have become movies. Like Lord of the Rings, obviously, has had movies, but I don't think The Count of Monte Cristo. I think it's been adapted a few times. I really want to read that. And that's a lot of people. A lot of my friends have that as their all-time favorite. But Good Omens, definitely want to read that also. I think Brave New World was adapted. Outlander's already been adapted. Obviously, like, the things that get adapted, they just get onto more people's radar. So then I think they're more likely to pick it up. But, I mean, Percy Jackson has been adapted. But, like, the 3rd book is still up here, and it's not anywhere near as whatever. A lot of Stephen King's books are on here, but they're not near the very top because I don't think he has wide appeal. I think he has niche appeal. And I mean, The Love Hypothesis is so high up. House in the Cerulean Sea, obviously one of my favorites as well. The Raven Cycle, I mean, I get it. I kind of. Again, we have Stephanie Meyer. Again, we have Rebecca, which clearly wasn't my favorite. Verity, It's interesting because somebody just made a video today saying that you should not read Verity and that you should instead read Rebecca. And I don't want to get into it. I just don't want to get into it. But I clearly had a preference for one over the other. Never the Princess Bride. And what I love about this too is that, like, when you go through this list, you're getting, like, every genre. You're getting, like, mysteries, you're getting thrillers, you're getting fantasy, you're getting nonfiction. Like, you see all these different books, but, like, they are all books that 8,000 people, 10,000 people took the effort and made to be like, you know what, this I want to put on my favorite shelf. Like, I feel like, here we go, Lord of the Flies, 3.69. 3.69. But it's favorited 8,600 times. Like, I remember reading this, I think I read it in middle school or high school, and I loved it. So, but I want to reread it. I don't have enough memories of it to, like, you know. A lot of people also, like, a lot of first books in series make the list, but a couple of, like, this Shatter Me. This is the first I think, the first Tahira Mafi book on here, and it's the third book in the Shadow Me series, which I do own just the first book, which everybody says is bad, but you have to obviously read on because then it gets better. But obviously I don't agree with this. But again, it's like I either have given these things like 4 or 5 stars or like 2 stars, which is just like, I was like, you know what? Yes. Yes. Again, I want to read Flowers for Algernon. We Were Liars. I don't know. Oh, this was disappointing. Yeah. Never Let Me Go. Again, we have a 3.84 with a lot of people marking it as a favorite. Like, this is still, they're only on page 2 or 3, right? Colleen Hoover, she's on this list a lot. She's here a lot. We haven't seen a Stephen King yet, which I find crazy. We're on, what, page 4? We have a lot of Marissa Meyer, a lot of Rick Riordan. Of course, we have Cassie Clare, who I obviously appreciate. Vampire Academy. The first, like, 3 books were good, and then I just really got tired of it by book 6. I was okay with it. I feel like it should have been a shorter series. Graceling, want to read that. 4.07. These are here's Shadow and Bone. Yes, that happened. I clearly need to reread because I guess my brain works different from everybody else because I thought this was Lee Bardugo's best work. But, you know, maybe I wasn't in my bag the day I read Six of Crows, clearly. We've got a lot of John Green here, and he's also someone who's clearly very polarizing because, like, 3.73, but he's really high up in this favorites list. I find it really interesting when, like, it's 3.6 or 7, but it's still so high up on these, like, that many people took the time to make it a favorite. Haven't read any Murakami, but I'm intrigued. Again, 3.89 for Shatter Me, like, that's clearly not a low, but again, that's a lot of people that have marked it as if, obviously, this is the favorite stack. Daughter Smoke and Bone, yes. Yes. The Midnight Library, it was good. Yeah, 4 stars. Not 5. Also, Shakespeare has made his name on this list a lot. Patrick Ness also shows up a lot on this list. And again, probably one I should reread because, again, I don't know what was happening. I don't know, it wasn't in my bag that day. This is the first of the eShop. No, it wasn't. We saw Addie LaRue before this. But this is probably my favorite of her books that I've read. For sure. The Hating Game. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's, like, multiple genres represented here, which I like. Darker Shade of Magic was the best in that series. Here we go. The Shining. Our first Stephen King. Now, I find it interesting that it's this low down, but I also find it interesting that a lot of his books are on the favorites. Like, you're gonna see, I don't know how long, I'm just gonna keep going until I get tired. Okay, Wrinkle in Time, that's been adapted. Haven't read it. Obviously, you can see if I read it and what I thought of it if I have read it. Yeah, Heroes of Olympus wasn't my favorite. The Stand, 4.34, that's impressive. House of Breaking Blood, I have good feelings about me in this one. I have a good feeling. You know, I don't know how much horror I really read, but yeah, Diary of Anne Frank, of course. Ocean at the End of the Lane. Yeah, I want to find some more lowly rated ones. Again, Colleen Hoover, she is all over this list. Her and Stephen King and Neil Gaiman are everywhere on this list, for sure. This surprises me. Hush Hush, 3.93. I mean, it's not terribly low. I mean, it's still almost 4. I like the paranormal. I do like the paranormal. So, Good Girls Gone to Murder, yes. Alright, let's look for something with it. Okay, see? Miss Peregrine's 3.92. That's low. That's low, I feel like, on average. Words of Radiance has... I'm pretty sure this is the highest rated fantasy book. Just in general. This is interesting to me. That I know everyone that I know that has completed this trilogy has said this is their least favorite. But there are still 5,000, almost 6,000 people somewhere out there in the world that still think this book deserved to be on their favorites list. The third book. And I just find that interesting. I want to hear from the people. I want them to come and defend, you know, their case. Pachinko, I definitely am trying to hopefully read that like in the next month or 2. Again, Colleen Hoover and Ella Enchanted. I love the movie. Everyone says the book is better. If I Stay, it's also been adapted. Again, John Steinbeck, another author who I think all of his works have been a favorite. Again, this proves my point. Red Rising is either really going to work for you or it's really not. And for me, it really didn't. This one, this one sounds like it's going to be so polarizing because this is 3.84. But again, we have 5,000 favorites. The Metamorphosis, I think that's about a man who turns into a fly. 3.85. It's very short, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Of course, we have Queen Michelle Obama. I need to read that. Lies of Lachlan Mora, I did not finish. So again, it really works for you or it doesn't. From Blood and Ash, I think also every single Jennifer L. Armentrout series makes its way somewhere in the favorites tag. Which, I mean, obviously, like, if you love one series by her, then you're probably going to like most of her series, but... I just want to find more, like... low. Shakespeare had a 3 point... What was that one that was a 3.9? Macbeth? I feel like Macbeth has such a... 3.9. Alright. The Darkest Minds by Alexander Bracken intrigues me. Caraval intrigues me for sure, because, like, I hear the writing style... really works for you, really doesn't. I mean, she's right at 4 stars on average, so I don't know. But it seems like people obviously like, you know, Kristen Hanna, of course, she had The Nightingale is like really high up. Again, John Green, 3.9. Clearly he works. I'm surprised this many people like read it and finished it and would have like, you know, I don't know. Okay, I just want to do like a couple more. I just want to see 50 Shades, definitely polarizing. Definitely a polarizing read. Yeah. And this one too. The Poppy War is like, you love it or hate it, and clearly I am on the side that I loved it. I loved it. 4.16 is atrocious. Like, seeing that makes me so sad because it is such a good book. This Eat, Pray, Love, 3.61, but it has 1,600,000 ratings. And The Virgin Suicides, which I honestly don't even know what it's about, but honestly, neither one of these books sound intriguing to me. But because they're so polarizing, like, I want to risk it. I want to go in. I want to find out if it's going to be a 2 or a 5. Like, I just want to know. This, Beloved, I haven't read any Toni Morrison, but I want to. 3.93. Again, Uglies is also polarizing. Apparently Dickens is also polarizing. But I feel like classics kind of get this, like, extra hatred on them because they... like, you're forced to read them. So obviously you're not gonna have fun because like you're forced to read them. And I never had to read it. I've never read it. I've only seen A Christmas Carol, the movie. I've never watched any other Dickens adaptation. So I don't know. Never read an Ernest Hemingway. Okay, we're getting to like a lot of these like being under 4 stars. And these are all books I want to read then because I want to find out like where I fall. Strange the Dreamer, love to see it. Love to see it, obviously. Again, Shakespeare polarized at 3.74. I thought this would be... well, I don't know what is his most reviewed... yeah, Romeo and Juliet is his most reviewed. But apparently Hamlet is his most favorited. Or was it Macbeth? I don't know. Whatever was before Romeo and Juliet, I think it was Macbeth. It's like most people's favorite. Clearly. Or should we go by the rating? Because if we go by the rating, actually that matches up. Hamlet is also the highest rated. Interesting. Gotta read Priority. I've got to read Priority. One of Us is Lying. That one I know. That's a lot of ratings. Also, The Knife of Never Letting Go. See, I told you Patrick Ness was on here a few times. I haven't seen a Stephen King in a while, but Bear and the Nightingale, love it. Love it. See, like, I'm looking at these, like, I'm looking through this list and the things that are marked as favorites. Like, I either loved them or really didn't like them. So, this is like a project for me now to, like, make my way through, like, all of these because I would rather have a 2 or a 5 than a C of 4 stars. But let me know how you feel about that. Like, would you rather have like a whole read? Like, tell me no. Answer. Like, let me know. Would you rather have a whole year? I'm gonna stop recording this. I hope I've been recording this. Now I'm worried I haven't been recording this. Okay, thank God I was recording and I just remembered how to stop it. Okay, please let me know if you agree. If you'd rather have a year full of all 5s and 2s or just 4-star books, because I just think that's interesting. I feel like most of you are gonna say the first one, but you could prove me wrong. Because it depends on, I guess, how you view your 4 stars. Like, because to me, a 5-star book is like an all-time favorite book, and I need those. I need a lot of those. I don't need them, like, but I want to find more of them. But yeah, so I will also leave my Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter. It will all be in my description for you to check out if you'd like. Otherwise, have a great day. Bye.